Hello, my name is Jess. I'm a PhD student at UCL looking at ways to improve the inclusion of autistic educators working in UK schools by looking at the perspectives of autistic and non-autistic educators and school leaders. The research is grounded in participatory and mixed methods design. I'm also a school teacher in London, and so I'm particularly influenced by the idea that research should be grounded in the experiences of everyday life, so it's useful as possible for those who could benefit from it. In this short video, I'll give an overview of my chapter, Autistic Knowledge in Learning and Teaching, from the book Neurodivergent Education and Lifelong Learning. While my research on autistic educators is about synthesizing knowledge from multiple points of view, in this chapter I'm taking a more personal perspective, drawing on my own experiences as an autistic learner and teacher. Too often, the biggest barriers to improving autistic lives comes from a disconnect between autistic and non-autistic ways of being and thinking. When non-autistics can't fully grasp our perspectives, the impact on our lives is profound. That's why it matters to share autistic experiences, so that others can better understand what it's like to navigate a world not built for neurodivergent brains, and how we can change that. The chapter looks at learning from two angles: my experiences as a learner, specifically learning languages, and then my experiences as a teacher. The focus is on neurodivergent ways of learning. I recount some of the challenges of learning something as social as a language as an autistic person, as well as the beauties and joys of focused interests, and how certain ways of thinking and learning, while not necessarily typical, can be viewed through a neurodiversity affirming lens. Looking at the flip side of this, I then explore the importance of neurodivergent expertise in the classroom. After all, who's better to support our neurodivergent learners than those with all the experience and knowledge themselves of what it's like to experience education from that perspective? While our lived experiences make us uniquely placed to create inclusive classrooms, autistic teachers often face the same barriers as our students. That's why I argue that having neurodivergent educators in schools isn't just valuable, it's essential. Right now, education is shaped around neurotypical assumptions, and that leaves a lot of people out, with knock-on effects on individual lives, families, and the health of our societies and economies. In this piece, I pull together some of the political and historical conversations about learning to consider how we arrived at the systems we currently have, and how it doesn't have to be inevitable. By taking a narrative perspective in this chapter, from the challenges and joys of learning languages in autism-friendly ways, to how autistic experience shapes classroom practice, I hope to add to a dialogue of empathy as we try to find ways to reverse the paths of exclusion that are, unfortunately, so central to the occupational and educational experiences of many.